The Forgotten Realms is a high fantasy setting on the world of Toril, focused mainly on the continent of Faerûn. It is a land where magic is real, gods are active, and monsters and kingdoms constantly rise and fall. Regions like the Sword Coast, Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, and the Underdark are home to some of the most iconic stories. But danger spreads across all corners, whether from dragons, demons, undead, or gods themselves. The realms are vast, layered with history, and constantly changing. This is the world where heroes rise and legends are written. Long before the first human built a city, before elves carved forests into kingdoms or dwarves delved into mountains, the world of Toril was shaped by forces older than memory. This was the age of the creator races, beings of immense power who walked the land when it was still raw. Among them were the Saruk, Batracians, Aerie, Fairy, and humanoids, each forging their own empires and reshaping the world around them. It was during this era that gods first turned their eyes toward Toril. Battles between divine powers spilled into the material plane, sparking great conflicts that would later be remembered only as myth. The days of thunder followed, an age when dragons ruled the skies and giants challenged them for dominance. Magic was still wild, storms of raw power that ravaged the land without form or order. Then came the first flowering, the time when the elves arrived from distant worlds or planes and began to tame the magic of the weave. They raised cities like Mythdrana, wove spells into the land itself, and built a golden age. Dwarves, too, rose during this time, carving halls into the spine of the world and establishing ancient holds like Delzun. But even in the early light of civilization, war was never far. Conflicts between dragons and elves, orcs and dwarves, gods and mortals began shaping the realms we know today. Every mountain range, sunken ruin, or shattered forest still bears the scars of these first ages. As the chaos of Toril's early ages settled, lasting civilizations began to rise. Elves ruled wide forests through powerful high magic. Dwarves dug deep into mountain hearts, forging wealth and weaponry. Humans, once scattered and primitive, began building their first kingdoms, ambitious, short-lived, and ever-changing. It was during this time that mortals began to understand time itself. The sage Harptos of Karlinth created the calendar of Harptos, a unifying system that marked the passage of years and seasons. The realms adopted it quickly, and every year since has been measured in Dala Reckoning DR, starting from the pact between elves and humans in the Dale lands. The calendar brought shared identity to distant cultures, even as empires rose and fell. Elven empires like Arivandar, Ilifan, and Cormyr reached their peaks, only to fracture under internal strife and the pressures of war, especially the Crown Wars, a series of brutal conflicts that left their civilizations scarred. In their wake, the human kingdoms gained ground, founding nations such as Netheril, famed for its sky cities and arcane might. Religion became central to daily life. Worship of gods like Mystra, Tyr, Bane, and Shontea shaped both culture and conflict. Temples were built, paladins marched, and clerics channeled divine power. The balance between arcane and divine magic, between mortal will and divine purpose, defined the early growth of Faerûn. In the Year of Shadows, the skies over Faerûn burned with omens. Portents filled the temples, magic grew wild, and then, without warning, the gods fell. This was the time of troubles, an event that changed the realms forever. The god Au, lord over all deities, cast down the entire pantheon to walk the mortal world. Their crime, failing to safeguard the tablets of fate, sacred records of divine order and domains. Stripped of their immortality, gods took on mortal forms, vulnerable to blade, spell, and death. Chaos followed. Mystra, goddess of magic, was slain. Bane, Torm, Merkul, and Cyric battled across cities and wastelands, their wars leaving scars in the land. Mortals who touched divine power, like Midnight, who would become the new Mystra, and Cyric, who stole the portfolios of dead gods, rose to heights never seen before. During this time, magic was unstable. Clerics lost their powers unless they stood near their deity's avatar. Wizards found spells faltering or exploding. The very nature of the weave, the force that channels all arcane magic, trembled. By the end of the crisis, order was restored, but it came at great cost. Gods had died. Others ascended. Magic itself had changed, and the divide between mortal and divine had grown thinner. It began with a death, though most didn't understand it at the time. One day, magic simply broke. Spells failed, portals collapsed, cities vanished in blue fire. A wave of chaos swept across Faerûn, and no one, not archmages, not clerics, not kings, could stop it. The source of this devastation was the fall of Mystra, goddess of magic. When she perished, the very weave that connected all arcane energy unraveled. In her absence, magic turned wild and destructive. Some lands were swallowed whole, others shifted or fused with strange realms. Magic-warped zones known as plague lands twisted both the land and those who dared to enter. Wizards lost their spells overnight. Temples crumbled as divine magic faltered. A few survivors were touched by the spellplague itself, marked by glowing scars and cursed with strange, uncontrollable powers. Entire nations collapsed. The realms entered an age of confusion and fear, but the chaos did not last forever. Slowly, change came again. The gods, once distant, began to return. The land trembled as ancient powers awoke. Mountains shifted, seas rose, cities fell from the sky, and through it all, the world began to heal. This age of upheaval became known as the Second Sundering, a time when Faerûn was reforged. The gods reclaimed their places. Mystra returned, restoring balance to the weave. Magic became stable once more. The scars of the spell plague remained, but the storm had passed. Faerûn is a realm of vast diversity, not just in its lands but in the people who walk them. Every mountain range, forest, city and underdark cavern is home to a different kind of life. Some ancient, some new, all woven into the realm's ongoing story. Humans remain the most numerous and ambitious. They build cities quickly, wage wars often, and rise to power with unmatched speed. From merchant princes in Arminin to warlords in the east, their cultures are as varied as their appearances. Elves carry the memory of the world's golden ages. Sun elves and moon elves shaped ancient empires like Mythdrana, while wood elves live in harmony with nature, wary of outsiders. The Drow, twisted by betrayal and bound to the goddess Lolth, rule a brutal society deep in the Underdark. Eladrin, tied to the Feywild, appear with seasonal grace and shifting moods. Dwarves, proud and enduring, carved kingdoms beneath the mountains. Hill dwarves are stalwart defenders of tradition, while mountain dwarves forge steel and honor in equal measure. Deep within the Underdark, Duergar, the grey dwarves, live harsh lives shaped by cruelty and toil. Halflings thrive on the edges of power. The joyful Lightfoots travel far and live freely, while the more reserved Stronghearts value community and stability. Others keep to the shadows, surviving with nimble hands and quiet steps. Gnomes, small in stature but fierce in spirit, are masters of magic and invention. Forest gnomes are elusive and clever, while rock gnomes build wonders in hidden workshops. Deep beneath the earth, deep gnomes endure the Underdark's terrors. Half-elves and half-orcs are born of two worlds, often finding belonging in neither, yet they thrive through strength, wit, or sheer stubbornness, carving paths entirely their own. Dragonborn descend from ancient draconic bloodlines. They walk the world with pride and purpose, some seeking honor, others seeking redemption for a history of tyranny and war. Tieflings bear the mark of infernal heritage, whether by pact, ancestry, or fate. Mistrusted by many, they often grow strong in defiance of the world's judgment. In the far north, Goliaths stride across the spines of mountains, competing in feats of strength and survival. Across the deserts and seas, Genasi, born of elemental power, shape fire, air, earth, and water to their will. Aasimar, blessed by the divine, shine with an inner light. Some embrace it, others flee it. Even stranger peoples exist. Tabaxi roam from southern jungles, curious and swift. Turtles live quiet coastal lives in shell-bound communities. Furbolgs tend the forests with druidic calm. Kenku, lizard folk, kobolds and bugbears are often seen as monsters, but in Faerûn, even they have stories worth telling. In the realms, race is never just background, it shapes culture, outlook and legend. No matter how strange or familiar, every people in Faerûn has its place in the world's great unfolding tale. In the Forgotten Realms, gods are real. They grant power, answer prayers, and influence the course of history. They do not linger in the heavens. Many have walked the land in mortal form, waged wars through champions, and shaped the very landscape with their will. At the center of it all is Mystra, goddess of magic, whose presence sustains the weave, the invisible force that allows all arcane spells to exist. When she falls, magic unravels. When she returns, balance is restored. All spellcasters, knowingly or not, draw their power through her design. The divine is split across a sprawling pantheon. Some gods offer guidance and protection. Tyr rules over justice. Torm champions duty. Shontea blesses farmers with fertile fields. Lathander is worshipped at dawn for hope and renewal. Selûne, the moon goddess, watches over travelers and those lost in darkness. Others, like Ilmater, offer solace through suffering, while Suna celebrates beauty and passion. Then come the gods of knowledge and craft, Ogma, who preserves all ideas, Gond, who inspires invention, Denair, who records what is forgotten, and Milil, who gives music form. For merchants and explorers, there is Warkeen and Shondakul. For those who walk wild places, Miliki, Sylvanus, and Gwerin Windstrom remain ever present. But darkness has its pantheon too. Bane commands through fear. Cyric thrives on lies and madness. Shah represents loss, secrets, and the void. Talos embodies storm and ruin, and Mirkul once ruled death, only to be replaced by the quieter judgment of Kelemvor. Bhaal, the lord of murder, has returned to power, worshipped in blood and whispers. Racial gods also shape the faith of their people. Elves revere Corellin Larethian. Dwarves look to Moradin. Gnomes pray to Garl Glittergold. Halflings to Yondala. Orcs to Groomsh, and Drow to Lolth, whose web of deceit binds much of the Underdark in terror. Dragons follow greater powers, Bahamut for honor, Tiamat for domination. Above them all stands Awo, the overgod. He does not grant spells, answer prayers, or take sides, but he enforces balance, ensuring the gods do not overreach their station. Faerûn is a land of shifting borders, ancient empires and brewing war, but certain places stand out as the heart of legend, danger, and adventure. The Sword Coast is the most storied region in the realms. Cities like Waterdeep, the City of Splendors, and Baldur's Gate, a teeming city of trade and treachery, serve as central hubs for countless adventures. Neverwinter, rebuilt from ruin, stands on the edge of stability. Icewind Dale, far to the north, is a frozen frontier, haunted by ancient evils, where survival is a daily struggle, and forgotten horrors lie beneath the ice. In the mountainous north, Gauntlgrim, the fabled dwarven stronghold, has been reclaimed and now plays a key role in regional politics. Deep below, the Underdark sprawls in darkness, ruled by the Drow of Menzoberranzan, Mind Flayers, Duergar, and other ancient horrors. No map can chart its full depth. To the east, the Dalelands and the Moonsea region hold the ruins of the ancient Netherese and Elven empires. Hillsfar, Flan, and Mulmaster are cities wrapped in corruption, violence, or tyranny. Ravenloft's mists sometimes even spill into these lands, dragging the unlucky into the demiplane of dread. Southward, the kingdom of Cormyr remains a bastion of chivalry and magic, a rare place of order in a chaotic world. El Turel, once a city of light, famously vanished into Avernus, the first layer of hell, a fall that shook the realms and became the stuff of legend. In the deep south, Chult is a land of rainforests, undead and dinosaur-hunted ruins. The tomb of the 9 gods and the death curse that once spread from its jungles have made it infamous among explorers and scholars alike. Further east, the Red Wizards of Thay, once hidden behind mountains and fear, now reach across the realms with necromantic power and political ambition. Their enemies in Rashomon, led by witches and spirit guardians, remain one of the few barriers to their conquest. Even across the sea, legends persist. Of Mazdika's jungles, Zakara's shining cities and genie lords, and the distant empire of Karatur, shaped by its own gods and dragons. Conflict simmers in every corner of Faerûn. The cult of the dragon seeks to raise Tiamat again. Giants stir under strange omens. Warlocks make pacts with forgotten powers. And amid it all, adventurers rise, from quiet taverns, broken keeps, and smoke-choked alleys, ready to change the world or be devoured by it. Faerûn is a land of legends, shaped by gods, magic, war, and the unyielding will of those who rise to meet it. From frostbitten peaks to sunlit seas, its stories are unending, and its heroes are born in every tavern, tomb, and battlefield. The realms endure because they change. Empires fall, gods vanish, cities burn, but adventure never fades. And yet, beyond the mountains, oceans, and even the plains, lies a world unlike any other, where the sun is a burning eye in a colorless sky, where water is more precious than gold, where the gods are silent and magic bleeds the earth dry, where survival is not a choice, it is the only law. Our journey continues into the dying world of Aethys. Like, subscribe, and stay with us as we uncover the brutal sands, forgotten histories, and fierce powers of the dark sun setting. Next.